Bright QT. Every student matters.
Hello everyone. Let's start with our new topic here, that is Age of Revolutions, and the timeline is 1830 to 1848. Now students, you already have learnt about two important ideology. Let's say three, right? But here the two ideologies that you already have learned are really important, okay? So the first one that you learnt was nationalism, then you learnt about liberalism, and apart from these two, the third ideology that or philosophy that you learnt about was conservatism. But here we are going to talk about these two ideologies. Why? Because we are going to discuss about the revolutions that took place during this period, spanning from 1830 to 1848. Yes, very much important, because it was only after this that the whole idea of nationalism, it was invoked among the people. Okay. So nationalism and liberalism, they were the two great forces that brought about revolutions in whole of Europe. Whether it's the Greece region, Ottoman region, Italian, German, and so on. There were many revolutions that were taking place at different times and in different places. And it was only because of these two ideologies that were spreading all around Europe. Now these revolutions, who were participating in these revolutions? So they were participated by educated middle class. Now remember, you already have learnt about the rise of new middle class after the Industrial Revolution, right? Yes. Then, who were in these middle class? Who were the people who belonged to this class? So they were the professors, school teachers, clerks, members of new commercial middle classes. So these were the set of people who were involved and who were challenging the established or the traditional institutions that had been brought in Europe, right? Here we are going to talk about the first revolution that took place, that was the Great War of Independence. Yes students, we are talking about the year 1821. So the Greeks who were living in Greece, they were very much happy or very much idealized with this notion of nationalism and liberalism. And they were very much angry or agitated how they were treated by the Ottoman Empire. Okay, so it was since the 15th century that the Ottoman Empire had acquired the territory of Greece. And these Greeks, they wanted freedom. From whom? From the Ottoman Empire, from the kings. So they were the first to revolt against the Ottoman Turkish Empire. Also, their national sentiments were found in Filke Hysteria. Now, this is the term that is important for you. In English, it means Society of Friends. Now, there were different ways through which the national sentiments were invoked in the people. Now, while talking about the French Revolution, there was the national flag, the national song, right? And many more changes that took place to arouse the national sentiments among people. But here, when we are talking about the Greeks, they formed a society which was known as Filke Hysteria, or in English, it meant Society of Friends. So it was a mass movement to secure independence. Now this is the flag for Filke Hysteria. Okay, so please keep this point in mind here. Apart from that, now when they started revolting in the year 1821, there were clashes between the Turkish Emperor and Greeks, right? Definitely the Ottoman Empire or the Turkish Emperor, they are going to challenge the revolt that was started by the Greeks. Okay? And in which year? In the year 1821. So this is the map here. Look at this stretch of Ottoman Empire. This was the region of Greece, right, which was not independent at that time, and it was acquired by the Ottoman Empire. Also, we see that how the Turkish emperors, they were reacting against the Greeks who were living there. So this agitated the Christian countries and they forced the Greeks and the Turks to come into agreement, right? So here we see that all these things, that were all the incidents or the revolts that took place in the Greek region, it was now gaining the wider acceptance or the wider attention of all the Christian countries, be it the England region, Russians and so on. So they wanted the Turks and Greeks to come into agreement. Apart from this, the Greeks who were living in exile, as in who were expelled from the country, the Greek region, they also supported the nationalists in the Greece. Why? And apart from this, all the other regions or the European countries, they also had sympathies for the Greek people or the Greek nationalists who were revolting against the Ottoman Turkish Empire. Now, why was that? Because Greece was considered as the cradle of European civilization. Now, in ancient world history, you must have read about different civilizations that had emerged, right, in the ancient period. Now, Greece was one of them. And all these European countries, they thought that Greece was the cradle, the basis or the origin of the European civilization, and it was their duty to protect the people there, the nationalists, their demands, right? So therefore, the European countries were also supporting them. And in turn, there were many poets and artists who joined this campaign. And the best example is Lord Byron, who was an English poet. Now, can you imagine, he was an English poet and he participated in the battle against the Turks. In 1827, England, France, Russia, they defeated the Turks, Egyptians and their allies in the naval battle. Now here what are we seeing? The revolt started by the Greeks, but later on it was joined by the other European powers who were supporting the Greek nationalists. Okay, so it was the England, France and Russian region that revolted against the Turks and in turn they defeated them. In 1827, a treaty was signed and according to this treaty, it recognized Greece as an independent nation under the suzerainty of Turkey. So basically, still here the sovereign was Turkey and the leader who was ruling Turkey, but Greece was somehow now recognized as an independent nation. This happened in the year 1827. It was not fully independent. Why? Because the major decisions were now taken by the King of Turkey. It was finally in 1832 that through the Treaty of Constantinople, Greece was an independent nation, completely independent nation. It was through the Treaty of Constantinople. 1832 is the year that you have to remember. January 1833, Greece was declared as kingdom and Prince Otto was the chosen king. So finally, after it was recognized as an independent, complete independent nation, it was only in 1833 that Prince Otto was the chosen king there. Why? Because Greece was now proclaimed as a kingdom and Turkey was no more ruling in that region. And here you have to keep in mind that Treaty of Constantinople is really important. Now this is an illustration showing the Greek War of Independence against the Turks.